The New York Knicks are in dire straits, something that we predicted. But do not forget to become a member, sign up to the page. Memberships count. Do not forget to join our Patreon, which is Casino for Life. And the fact that Jalen Brunson is at this panel talking about what's going on with the New York Knicks, it's even worse. It is even worse. As breaking news, the team meeting and shoot around today is information is leaking out to the press about what and transpired in the team meeting, and boy, it is not good. So hit the like button, hit the notification bell coming through the door. It's yours truly, Carcino, and we're gonna break this all down. That's right, we're gonna break it all down. Because it hurts to say. For those out there who care so much about it, the New York Knicks are falling apart. And nobody loves that more than me. Now, granted, there are a lot of people out there that don't want to see them succeed. There's a lot of people out there who believes that this might not be the best look for the team, for the New York Knicks, right? They might say, well, the Knicks had a good run. But to lose the way they did to the Detroit Pistons, well, let's just say this. Many didn't have that as a progressive way to move forward. They didn't see this as an anomaly or something that didn't make a lot of sense. In their mind, this is the beginning of the end. And if we don't do something about it now, we're doomed. I mean, absolutely doomed. Now, Jalen Brunson did his best to try to rally the team. He came in there, had a meeting. They had a players only meeting. They didn't want any coaching staff, no assistant coaches. They had a players only meeting where they can hash out all of their problems amongst each other. There was a lot of yelling going on in that locker room. A lot of yelling. It started off as calm. Jalen Brunson gave a pretty much a PR speech to the team saying, we know what we have to do. We have to get better. And we all, including myself, he gave a real PR speech. All of that flipped upside down where it's us, we hold each other accountable. If there's anything going on, let's just talk. What is the problem? Why are we not getting things done? Why are we not defending? Why are we not locked in? Why are we not connected? The why started to happen. So after the why started happening, other things started to come up. As Miles McBride got very vocal and was asking, Who are we supposed to get the cues from? Why in transition, guys are not back? Guys are not getting back. Who's deciding disadvantages and advantages in matchups? Who's making the decisions to go? Is the system we're using working? Now, when there's questions about is the system we're using working? Is it a winning system? And the person that was noticeably quiet and acted like he was disattached from everything that was going on, Karl Anthony Towns. The cat. See, Cat acted as if he didn't want to be there. He didn't know why all this was going on. Cat didn't care. So when they brought the questions to Cat about assertiveness on defense and being aggressive, that's when Cat exploded. And he basically was talking about Jalen Brunson. And Brunson says, F you to Cat and was like, I'm right here. If you're going to be a pussy in the locker room, it's almost saying, like, if you're going to be a pussy in the locker room, you're going to be a pussy on the floor, is what he was saying to Cat. Not verbatim, but in those words. If you're going to be too scared to speak out loud, instead of leaking stuff to the media, as they blame Karl Anthony Towns as being one of the leaks for leaking things out, Brunson is not going to talk about it in the press. But he's basically saying, don't be a pussy in the locker room. That's why we're having this players only meeting. He gave him the PR speech first to get everything rolling. And as things got rolling, Cat just don't want to hear it. Cat does not like Jalen Brunson. Let's get that assessed right now. Does not like Brunson just getting through the season. But he doesn't like Jalen Brunson. He doesn't like playing with Jalen Brunson. He thinks the problem is the system. That's what Cat believes. He believes last year's team was a lot better than this year's team under Mike Brown. He doesn't have a problem with Mike Brown, but he realizes that the system that Mike Brown is using is not working. It don't work for him, his game, and getting him involved. He feels like a robot in the system. So this is what's going on with the New York Knicks. The system does not include him because they want him to be more like, if you know Mike Brown, he has not played well with centers. His offensive system is not really around a big man. Cat pretty much has to get his own shot. And the fact is, Brunson dribbles and is on the ball so much, and they're playing on the perimeter. And he has to be out on the perimeter to get a running start. When guys press up on him and he can't do his shot, Brunson says, basically, you can't just quit on the team, on the court. And Cat would just shut down if he's mentally feeling like no one's hearing him. He just immediately shuts down, and everybody's like figuring out what's wrong with Cat, what's wrong with Cat. He's like, we can't have that. You're mentally shut down, so on defense, you just like whatever, and you're just going through the motions. But when you only take 4 shots in a game, and you're our all-star forward / center, you cannot have, there's no way, shape, and form can you have 6 points in a game and only take 4 shots. He had 6 turnovers and 4 shot attempts. You got more turnovers than shot attempts. Miles McBride sees it a lot different. Miles McBride is like, look, here's what I believe the problem is. We're putting too much emphasis on one person. Like in his mind, why are we blaming and jumping on Cat when none of us is playing defense? That's how Miles McBride think. Like he said tonight. He said, shit, did we even play defense tonight? Any of us. Defensive energy. The Pistons just came off a back-to-back. That was the second game in a back-to-back, and they got blown out. Like they were not even competitive in the game. They made no effort to try to get anything going towards the rim. The Pistons denied him, and they just accepted it. They accepted not going to the rim, which was unacceptable for the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns basically clammed up. Then he just snapped and had like what they call a bitch fit and start talking about how he's not getting touches. And why am I going in the paint to fight in the paint and get position when you're not going to give me the ball? And Brunson says, when I give you the ball, are you going to be aggressive and go up and score? Or are you going to kick that shit back out? You battle for position down low. We give you the ball. What you going to do with it? You going to go up and shoot? Or you going to kick that shit out? So if you're going to just kick it back out, I might as well just give it to the person you're going to kick it to. Makes perfect sense to me. But I do admire Brunson being a bold guy. I never thought out, he's such a PR guy. I guess with the players only meeting, this was going to happen. Now, the information that you should be asking is, how the hell do you know what happened in a players only meeting? That's how much distrust is in the New York Knicks. When I tell you this team is separate, this team is separate. Mitchell Robinson, Big Mitch. Oh, yeah. He walk around like his shit don't stink. And he's very unhappy with the Knicks. He was making suggestions that they need to make changes and that he shouldn't go. Other players should go. Mitchell Robinson, who loves to see him talk, got a lot of people upset with him on the team. Because he's not available a lot. And when he is available, he's kind of a cone. If you get him up the top of the key, he's useless. Now, against teams that are not dominantly rebounding And they was like, yeah, Mitchell Robinson is a monster on the offensive glass. Granted, okay, cool. He's a monster on the offensive glass. What is that going to do for everyone else who is what does that mean, and what is that going to do for everyone else who's in the same circle? What is it going to do for them? It's not going to do anything. The rest of the team can see Karl Anthony Towns isn't happy. Jalen Brunson isn't happy. James Dolan believes everything is fine. They're going to be okay. This thing happens. He's not trading for Giannis. James Dolan is not trying to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Doesn't want to make a big trade at all. He thinks the team is just fine. They can win a championship with what they have. And if anybody make a change, it'd be something minor. Not a major change. The Knicks don't need it. Dolan's mindset is, why am I spending extra money to try to win a championship or get there when all we were a couple wins away from the NBA Finals? So all we got to do is get to the NBA Finals, and now that Indiana's out of the picture, that was the only team that gave us problems. Tatum's gone, Halliburton's gone, so Indiana's gone. They're done. The East is ours. All we got to do is just show up. Now, Isaiah Stewart is up for Defensive Player of the Year, as he was Defensive Player of the Month last month. Puts up a devastating performance against Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. Him and Reed combined, they were like WWE tag team on defense. Everybody worked together on defense. Each man has each other's back. Everybody's locked in Detroit. They know where they are defensively. As Cade Cunningham, nobody gives you anything in Detroit. Even the third string, they don't give you anything in Detroit. You get nothing. Everything is contested. People are not taking plays off. They're making you work, bring the ball up. So the fact that we're a more superior team is one. Two, the fact that we felt that we were better than you last year and you guys just got the win and survived is a whole nother dynamic altogether. None of these guys are on the same level or on the same keel. Well, yeah, the Pistons could come out the East because they play 1 through 12. The 12th man is about as dangerous as the first man. It is hard to defeat a team like that. Even when they cheat the Pistons, it is very hard to beat us. Kawhi Leonard had to put up 55 in order to beat us. That's the only game this season the Detroit Pistons were like beat from pillar to post. Then we played the Lakers, and you saw what we did to them. The Lakers out, blew the Knicks out, and these are the two teams the NBA wants to put in the NBA Finals. And they weren't even a match for us. They weren't even competition. Well, the Miami game, look at what they did. We came all the way back and made it a 2-point game with like 12 seconds to go. We had a chance to win or tie the game before Sewell Thompson threw the ball away on the inbounds. Well, yeah, you got to watch the games, and then you'll see that the Pistons lost. All their losses this season have really been like about 3 points, close game, losing about 1 to Orlando. You know, it's things of that nature. It's coming down to a last-second shot or something like that of that nature, but everybody else has been getting annihilated. Like, yeah, Detroit is really the best team in the NBA, period. It's not OKC. They just had the best record. But the best team is the Detroit Pistons, without a doubt. I've watched everybody play. And the team that's playing the best basketball is the Detroit Pistons. I like the way Orlando played. They're not consistent enough. And thank God they finally fired John Harbaugh. Thank you. There is a God in Baltimore. Why everybody keeps saying Tatum might come back early? He tore his Achilles. It takes about 6 months for you to start walking again after Achilles. Then there's the rehab process of getting your toes in that process together after the surgery's done. You have to use your toes to pick up marbles and put them in a glass. You have to learn to do all of these things and procedures. And rehab is the hardest part because you're a professional athlete. And going through this progression is a major problem for you, being a professional athlete. And the year that they require for you to be off is to recover and to get back into playing shape. And normally you overcompensate with your other leg for the other leg being out. And when you get back to going into your drills, normally your other leg is out. And you start having problems with your other leg while you're rebuilding the other side of your body. This is what makes it very hard for people with Achilles injuries to bounce back, to play the game again at a high level. Kobe came back and he wasn't the same player. Skill set is there always, but his body physically couldn't take it. His knee went out on his other leg. He started having knee problems with the other leg. He injured his quad. He went down crashing, and it was like that was the last time you were going to see Kobe be Kobe again. Then you saw Klay Thompson. He had an ACL injury. Then, while recovering from that, He tears his Achilles. Coming back the next season. So he ended up missing 2 years of basketball to come back to get another championship, but he had reached his ceiling. Defensively, he's getting older, what have you. Not to say Jason Tatum can't come back, but to come back in this season wouldn't even make sense. The playoffs are ramped up, and you want to just throw Jason Tatum in the mix. Celtics will make the playoffs, but are they a team that is better than the Pistons? Absolutely not. The New York Knicks, what we were talking about earlier with the Knicks, their problems are just beginning. 100% around the board is just beginning. They're not going to be able to escape all of the problems that's coming. Well, it's the decision making that's part of the problem. When you're the New York Knicks, everyone is expecting the absolute best out of you. When before they didn't have these expectations. So New York media is excited and thinking that this is their year, they're going to the finals, and the Knicks are playing like they're going to go no matter what. Now, this is what they blame the in-season tournament for, saying guys revved up to try to win the championship, and it's hard to maintain after you push yourself to that level, to remain at that level all the way through. So you put them in a playoff environment to where they had to rep their game all the way up. He's like, now you got to come back down to play the regular season games. And he's like, every time this has happened with this in-season tournament, when the Lakers did it, they went on a skid of losing. The Milwaukee Bucks, they went on a skid of losing right after this happened, because, and Isaiah Thomas had broke this down before, when you gear up in the playoffs, your intensity goes up, your play goes up, everything is heightened in the playoffs because every possession matters, everything's at a high. So when that's over, the season's over, and there's a come down. So everybody comes down, and it's like, okay, we're done. And for months, you're off. Now, when you do in-season tournaments and you rev yourself up naturally to lock in to win this thing, now there's no time to let everything taper down because you're still in the season. So now you're back playing, and now once you drop down and you relax, you've lost 3-4 games. Nobody's locked in. Everybody's pointing fingers. Everybody's on like a come down off the high. What's up, Uncle Claude? The Giants or Raiders? Well, the Raiders will be more suited for him, but I don't know. I was shocked they pulled the trigger on Pete Carroll. I think he probably really pissed off that locker room, his style of play. I think Pete's going to go into retirement, or they're going to force him into it. No, Jalen Brunson's decided to make a statement and a stand for the team was pretty interesting, with the fact that Jalen Brunson is not even really the main guy on the team anymore. Like, as far as the voice of the team, Josh Hart, who, is normally very vocal, he was kind of quiet. And he's saying, like, when guys ain't playing, on the floor, when it comes to stuff like this, guys should, they're not able to contribute on the floor, they shouldn't be critical. They should be shutting the F up. And that's why he shut the F up. He's like, I can't be out there, so I can't. All I could do is, root for you guys, man. And I want to be out there. But he's like, I got to do what I got to do to get back on the floor. But I just got to hold everybody accountable and say, hey, don't fall apart. We just not doing what we supposed to do. And we all know what we do when we winning. We know what's successful. I wouldn't say Josh Hart is a bum, but he's not what everybody's making him out to be. Now, I know when people say he brings the energy for the team. If you need one person to bring that energy or you can't play well, you need to go and get checked for heart. Sometimes it's just heart and will. And with the Knicks, you can see that you could take their heart. You can make Cat quit. You could make a lot of infighting on the team. Bridges is just like, there's a lot of things internal. There's too many coups in there. Like Mitchell Robinson and Cat seem to be on the same page, which is very shocking to me. I never saw that, being a reality. But yeah, Mitchell Robinson is pretty much aligned with Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, he's very critical. Very critical. And he's not liking what they having him do at times and thinking that, offensively, he could do a lot more. And he feels that he's going to be a Knick for life. Like they're going to take it, and he should be, because what would they be without Mitch? He's really believing in his brain. He's better than what people are making him out to be or what I see him as. But his matchup with Isaiah Stewart was going to tell me everything I needed to know. And us losing Isaiah Stewart in game 1 in the playoffs last year cost the Detroit Pistons. Because you see what type of destruction comes his way when he's on the floor. His strength alone is enough to muscle Big Mitch out of that paint. Wasn't none of those dominant offensive rebound performing nights from Mitchell Robinson. Hell to the no. That wasn't going to happen. He was going to get out positioned. No, we ain't starting that conversation again. Jalen Brunson is too small. One of their main problems of the New York Knicks. Let's go through the problems of the Knicks. Here's the problems with the New York Knicks. Their backcourt is too small. Miles McBride and Jalen Brunson both combined can stand on each other's shoulder and won't be 7 feet tall. So with that dynamic, that's one of the problems of the New York Knicks. Now, here's the second problem with the New York Knicks. When your scoring guard is your point guard, it is hard to win basketball games and championships that way. Being on the ball all the time and you're the point guard. Somebody say, well, look at LeBron. Well, LeBron is what you call a point forward. He played the point guard position, but LeBron is 6'9". Okay, he's like 6'9", 275. Earl the Pearl Monroe couldn't do it. Earl the Pearl could do that. He couldn't win. Earl didn't win until he got to the Knicks, and they shackled his game. He didn't play the same way no more. He was Earl the Pearl before he got to the Knicks. That was Earl the Pearl. The Earl you saw with New York wasn't Earl the Pearl. That was, I'm going to play my role and play my position. Different Earl Monroe. Yes, he didn't win. That's how he altered his game so that they can win in New York. But when he got the name Earl the Pearl and was going off, yeah, it wasn't. He didn't play that same way in New York. Yes, we gave that announcement as it happened during our live stream, as the announcement went through, and I'm very happy it's done. Now back to the New York Knicks problems. Jalen Brunson is on the ball too much, and he's scoring too much. And some games he'll have 24 and 13 assists, and it's like, okay, well, this is where you need to be. But Jalen Brunson should not be shooting 20 shots in a game. It's unnecessary. You got enough weapons on this team that they've paid big money for that need to get the ball. Bridges, you got to get him going. You're Jalen Brunson. Okay, your job is to get your team going because you're gonna need them. If they feel neutralized and their confidence is low, it's up to you to build them up by giving them easy ones. That's the job of a point guard. And a great point guard can get their guys. Say your guy averaged 4 points a game. If you're a great point guard, you can get that guy up to 12. Isaiah Thomas can take a guy that would average 3 or 4 anywhere else and can help elevate their games and their numbers just by playing on the floor with him. He's going to get you easy buckets because they have to worry about stopping him and getting him out of his positions. But when you don't have that mastery of control, assists is more than just giving the guy the ball. Giving it to him in his right position for him to score that he's comfortable with, what they call the shot pocket, where guys used to getting the ball, coming up for his release, catching them in rhythm. Things that point guards need to know. But Jalen Brunson is not a point guard. He's been a 2 guard his entire life. He was brought in to be a 2 guard. Jason Kidd felt Brunson was too small on defense. So they went with a taller guard and Dinwiddie. He was just a little too small. So when he starts scoring all these points, playing one-on-one ball, and being a 2 guard, that's great for his game. He's going to excel. Doesn't really constitute winning that much. It's not going to be sustainable. Allen Iverson, another thing. Because what's that going to lead to? Injuries. You play that way, being as small as you are, driving to the bucket all the time, falling down, your ankles, your knees, you're getting bumped all the time, and it's unnecessary. Get the ball to people, move it around. The ball has to touch everybody. You're going to burn out. They had to get Allen Iverson off the ball. So they started giving the ball to Eric Snow. Eric Snow ran the point, and Allen Iverson was the backup. The 2 guard. It was like, I'm going to back you up. Sometimes I might take the point, but right now, you're on point. Isaiah would be the point until Like Joe might not have it going, or one of the other players might not, be in a rhythm. So what he would do is they would go into a position where Isaiah would switch to two guard and come off the screens, whether he's coming off left or right. Joe would be running the point because Isaiah be in such a rhythm. They'll just ride that out and said, okay, well, I'm gonna switch to the two. You bring it up. You doing the one right now. So Joe will bring it up, and he'll just look for Isaiah coming off left or right. Pop, 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 pop. And Isaiah would just assassinate them. Being able to actually shoot and actually get open, meaning you could score from anywhere on the court, makes you very dangerous. Brunson is a rhythm guy. He's good for rec ball, getting, bumps and going up for fouls and things of that nature. But if they're not getting those free throw calls, or they're not getting those chippy fouls, then they're ineffective. You have to find a way to get Bridges involved in that game. If you're going to beat the Detroit Pistons, Bridges have to be involved. He was neutralized. OG ain't nobody. Has not lived up to the $200 million contract once they signed him. He played great when they first traded for him. Ever since then, his production has dropped. He's become a guy that just shoots threes. And defense, that's what was supposed to be one of his staples. Guys are getting by him with ease. And that's due to a lot of injuries. When you suffer a lot of leg injuries, people don't understand this is not 2K. That stuff stays with you. Having knee injuries, you're out, you're rehabbing, you keep coming back, and you start looking like Vanderbilt out there from the Lakers. Another guy who had that serious knee injury. He had a toe injury. It kept him out. He missed about 2 years of basketball just from being injured. And guys are faster, quicker. They can get to these positions. And then all he does is foul people and try to get mad at him because he feels, I'm better than you, but his body physically can't allow him to do the stuff he used to do. Yes, OG ain't nobody is definitely overpaid. I never felt that the New York Knicks did a very good job in breaking down and assessing who was who and what was what. I felt their lack in detail made everyone very antsy when it came to what the dynamics were, Jordan Clarkson is a great addition, but they're playing a system, the same system he had in Sacramento. And that system was winning games, but when it came to playoff time, playing that style of basketball wasn't working for Mike Brown until he got the right player in position. He needed Sabonis. Sabonis is a guy who can score on the inside, rebound, but he also can pass out of the paint. Karl Anthony Towns isn't that player. So if they're going to make a trade in New York, they should make a trade and get Sabonis over to the New York Knicks and move Karl Anthony Towns. And the Knicks would take off. They would take off immediately. That would solve so much of their problems, and you will see the team take a huge jump in that one trade by itself. Because the New York Knicks need somebody like that. Sabonis is a guy that's a threat to shoot and score. He can score with either hand, but he's more dangerous with his passing. Someone who can find guys in the post. And someone like Bridges is going to benefit tremendously with having a guy like that on the team. Karl Anthony Towns plays more of a free form type of basketball game. Mm. Well, those dynamics never come to what they say fruition. Because you got several people who, no, that is a great trade for the Knicks if they move Cat for Sabonis. It fits Mike Brown's system of playing fast, but actual movement of the ball. And it's pretty much what Draymond Green does in Golden State. It's almost a mirror performance of Golden State, but you need the personnel in order to pull it off. Brunson worked all this summer to get in shape to run this kind of offense, only to resort back to one-on-one basketball. And that is not how the system works. The ball has to move around. So when you stop doing the move around and you start doing this ridiculous basketball play that you're doing, once again, you're back with bad performances. Uh, you're going to have off nights, but this isn't an off night. This is a bad effort energy when you're losing to Atlanta and the style you're losing the game. They've been getting carried. They're really a 500 ball club. Watching the Knicks play those close games, they got the calls to get them the victories in games. Like, this is really a 500 basketball team. The way they play is not aesthetically pleasing to watch. It's clunky. It's like a 500 basketball club. No, they don't. A lot of guys don't play one-on-one games. Pistons don't play a one-on-one style of basketball. James Dolan says he's not making any big moves. So don't expect Cat to go anywhere. Don't expect any of these people to be going anywhere soon. He doesn't plan on making this jump. You kidding me? Karl Anthony Towns? Nobody's talking about the Pistons. Well, they weren't, but yeah, now they are. See, when you beat the Lakers on major network like Peacock, and people saw that, and then the Knicks get beat in the fashion they got beat, people are going to go, wow, we got to start getting more national televised games for the Detroit Pistons now, because this team is actually marketable. Cade Cunningham is one of the lead candidates for most valuable player. He has about as many votes for All-Star than Jalen Brunson. Tyrese Maxey has about the same amount of votes. There are only like about 20 to 30,000 votes difference in the standings between Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham had 29 points last night. And in his 29 points he had last night, he also had and acquired 13 assists, and he only played 29 minutes. He didn't even play the fourth quarter. Brunson's points were ineffective. So when people look at the stat lines and say, well, Brunson was doing his thing, he wasn't doing his thing. Because if he was doing his thing, there wouldn't be 0 assists. Yeah, you know, when you see people around the neighborhood and they keep coming up with different analogies as to what's going on, and they trying to give you a reason why certain things are happening in the format in which they are, then it's up to you to try to make sense out of it. It's clear the team is in disarray. You overpaid for OG. Fine. You got to find a way to get value out of what you already own. You've already made the mistake. You paid the man $200 million because you didn't want him to leave and go somewhere else based on what he did. He finessed you. Okay, good. Except that you got finessed. Now you got to find a way to get the work production out of him. If OG and Bridges are not going, if you're Jalen Brunson, you can't come out scoring. That makes no sense. If you're the point guard and you want to set the tone by scoring to get people to respect you, you already know you can score. I would take 1 to 2 shots, and that'll be that. The rest is not going to be on me. The rest is going to be on everybody else. Do you know why? The rest is going to be on everybody else and what they need to do. No, because you need to get everybody going. So when you don't get everybody going, all the problems that you believed are still there. You got to get everybody else going. That's going to open up the game for you. You have to trust in the team. Get those guys rolling. Once they start seeing that, they elevate. Their confidence get high. Then, you know, you always know I can get 20 anytime I want. That's how I played the game. I know I could score. Anytime I wanted to score, I could. So let me help these people that don't have that confidence, that knowing they can't score. Let me help them. They're going to be worried about me. Let me get the ball to them, not just pass them the ball, but give it to them in a position where they can score. Give it to Bridges when he's making that cut to the basket. Let him run that play 3-4 times. Let him get some confidence. OG, stop just shooting threes. Actually make an aggressive move to the basket. Make a cut, and I'm going to drop the ball off to you. Why don't you cut with me? The system got to change. Because if you don't change the system, you're going to be stuck doing the same old bullshit over and over again. So now, everyone's saying the Knicks ain't going anywhere. They need to get Giannis. Dolan just told you he sees no need to get Giannis. He communicates freely with Leon Rose, and a trade for Giannis is not in his category. Now let Giannis get traded to the Miami Heat and see how Knicks fans feel about that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's a good fit. I don't think Brunson and Giannis playing together is a good fit. He played with an on-ball guy and Dame Lillard, and that didn't go well for him. You know, playing with a Drew Holiday is different than playing with a Dame Lillard. Dame could do a lot of different things, but Dame also is somebody that can get his own shot. Dame is somebody who can also change the dynamic of a game by shooting a bunch of threes and making it Dame time. But the games and the way they win, because Giannis likes to bring the ball up, he doesn't fit Mike Brown's system at all. And you're really pretty much in the same spot. You're going to have another you go, I go situation in New York. So, I don't know. A lot of people think this is going to change the New York Knicks, but I just see the problems. But yet they think I'm the emotional guy. I tell it like it is, but I'm the emotional one. How'd that happen? See, this is what LB misses out on. LB, this is the part you miss. Yes, I'm an emotional person when it comes to the game, but I actually give you the reasons why something is happening. I don't sit there and just say they suck, and that's it. They suck because they're the Knicks, and the Knicks suck. I don't do that. I give you the reasons why they suck, and the reasons are very valid. So, as long as everyone is on the same page, then everything can be kumbaya. You feel me? You know what kumbaya is? No, I didn't live with her. The thumb and the butt Knicks. Yeah, that really hurt their image. They haven't played well since then. Now, no, nothing would change unless the attitude changed. Them calling each other out for a players meeting, when it's just players only, it's like, okay, you got to hold yourself accountable. The Clippers are one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They won 7 out of their last 8 games, and they're coming into New York, coming into the Garden, and they playing the best basketball right now, next to the Detroit Pistons. The only team to beat us, like really beat us. And now you got Kawhi coming into the Garden. Hot as he's been, averaging 39 points a game. You in the last, 8-game stretch? So you want to deal with that. Knock yourself out. You see, that's the reality you need to have. Because while they laughing and giggling, the 76ers are starting to come together. You're starting to have Boston, who's still solid. They're moving up to the 3rd spot. You're one slip away from being 6 and 7 and getting yourself involved in a play-in situation. Plus, like I said, I don't pray for it. I just see what's happening on the court. Brunson's style of play is starting to hurt him. Because eventually that's what's going to happen. He's going to break down. And you don't want that to happen right around the playoffs. So when you can't defend someone, like Cade Cunningham can shoot over Deuce McBride with no problem. He can shoot over Jalen Brunson with no problem. Having 2 small guys on the court, it's hard to defend that. I mean, it's hard to protect yourself against that. Then you got a Sewer. He doing what he doing. Hey, what's up? Yeah, you got a Sewer Thompson doing what he doing out there defensively. You know, y'all made it look like they was just playing some scrubs. They were playing the best team in the league and defensively. You know how many times they poked the ball away from Brunson? A lot of Knicks fans, they had to be brutally honest. I heard a lot of brutal honesty from Knicks fans. Oh yeah, the 76ers are laughing at y'all. But I thought he would play a lot better. That guy that played for South Sudan, who got picked up by the Sixers, he played well for the Sixers down the stretch. But he just don't fit Mike Brown's system. Mike Brown can't keep him on the floor because one, he's too low bottom heavy. You know, he when he get the ball, guys are blocking it. He's not a really tall guy either. So he just don't fit. So they bring him in for about less than 40 seconds and then they throw him right back on the bench. They like, all right, you got to go to the bench. Yeah, it lasts about 30, 40 seconds, 2 minutes, tops. But the bench, to me, is not the real problem. Y'all bench isn't the problem. It's your starting five. You guys need taller guards. So when I say they need to trade Brunson, what I'm saying is, if you can get somebody taller in there to take his place, like if you wanted to get Giannis in place of Brunson, that's something you could explore. And the Knicks wouldn't lose. They wouldn't lose nothing. Cat would have to go. So the Brunson and Cat thing, I would move that, but that's not a reality. We all know Brunson's not going to go anywhere with his whole damn family on the Knicks. But you don't have the right pieces around him. Lifelong Knicks fans here. Real serious Knicks was never messing with this team. We known it already. Exactly. I think they should trade Cat for Sabonis. Bring Sabonis over because he knows Mike Brown's system in and out, and it's a system that fits the style of play he operates in. And the style of play he operated in was successful in Golden State. It's pretty much the system they been running forever. Sabonis can pass out of the post. He's a threat to score. He has post moves with the left or right hand. He doesn't commit silly ass fouls. And he opens up the floor for Bridges and OG because you got to pay so much attention to Sabonis down low, and he can run the point in the middle of the court anywhere he touches the ball. He's a threat. Well, if he isn't a threat, then let us know. No, Sabonis, they're not going to make any moves. Dolan has already made that clear. They're not making any big moves. And believe me, when Dolan says something, believe him. He said, I grew up going to the same church is Cat. He's a Seventh-day Adventist. He always been sassy and passive aggressive. It's crazy seeing it play out in the public like this. Yeah. But here's the thing though. What really hurt his feelings too is that when they proposed, where he, announced his engagement, none of his teammates really gave a damn. Like when Jalen Brunson was finna have his first child, they went above and beyond with all kind of praise and everything. But when it came to him and he announced he was getting married, he got a dap. His teammates gave him a dap, dog. Can you imagine that? They gave him a dap. No, Brunson and Cat had some words today. Now this is supposed to be a players only meeting and everything is leaking out. This is why I'm telling you, you got people that talk to the media that's not happy. But what was shocking me was Deuce McBride had a lot to say. Deuce McBride had a lot to say. Yeah. Deuce is like, we could all blame Cat, but ultimately, can we? He was like, shit, do any of us play defense? We could sit here and blame Cat for everything. But when Jalen Brunson says, don't be a pussy in the locker room, because it's going to make you a pussy on the court, that was pretty funny. Brunson came in all PC. Then when it got crazy, he got crazy. Man, it was nuts. That's why I always say, mind what you're doing. It's some Knicks fans who are in denial as to what's going on. Most Knicks fans, what's surprising is, I guess when you get beat by like the way they got beat, excuses is kind of out the window. It wasn't like, oh, we didn't get that rebound, that call changed the game. They couldn't do that. They literally couldn't do that. Cat believes it's the system. Because Mike Brown even told him, he's like, man, you are making the biggest sacrifice for the team than anybody. Because your game got to change. So the Cat game is completely changed than when Tibbs was there. Tibbs gave Cat more touches. His plays involved Cat. And he knows if Cat's not involved in the game, that's radioactive for the team. He's been his coach since he was in Minnesota. So he knows when Cat's emotionally getting out of the game, he's going to shut down completely. So if he has zero confidence on the floor and he believes you don't have any confidence in him, he's like a kid that pouts. He's just going to be out on the court just playing all wild and just crazy like he don't care. And it's going to reflect on both ends of the floor. Guys are driving on him and he just, what do you want me to do? And that's it. You know, he shuts down. He's done for the day. So what Tibbs would do was run some plays for Cat and get his confidence up. Well, you can't blame Leon Rose for when you are in the cellar and someone bring you out the cellar and you're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't say, hey, this is all on you. I'll be like, yeah, this is all on me. the fact the Knicks are in contention now, yeah, this is all on me. I will take credit for that. No one's blaming him for that. But the realities of the New York Knicks and how they've been playing lately is reflective of how they've been playing all season. I've watched almost every last one of their games. And every time they've even won games, they didn't play well. They weren't playing good basketball. And I'm like, oh, they got carried. If they didn't call all these calls in the fourth, this is, like I'm saying, they're really a 500 ball club. They're not a world champion playing team. Right, exactly. It's clutch versus CAA. No, Randall doesn't fit either. You need a Sabonis. You need somebody that knows how to pass, who could score with either hand, got some moves down low that they can actually score. And Sabonis can rebound. He knows how to box out. Sacramento, since he's been injured in Sacramento, the team fell off quick and they haven't recovered. So he needs to be taken off that island. Get him out of Sacramento, save his career, and put him on the Knicks. I mean, that would be the perfect fit for Sabonis. And I guarantee you, the Knicks would turn around in a heartbeat, just making that one trade. They say, hey, y'all get Karl Anthony Towns in Sacramento, we'll get Sabonis. The Knicks would take off like you've never seen. I guarantee you, it would change the whole dynamic of their offense. And they would be an entirely different team. And then you will see Mike Brown's offense flourish a lot better. It would cover up a lot. You need a player like that, and there's not that many players like him in the league. Have you noticed the Knicks did not make any efforts to get towards the rim anymore? After they got a couple of their shots blocked, they said, forget that. We're not penetrating anymore. They quit. They actually quit. So more than just skill of basketball, it was actual will. He fired Tibbs just to get Mike Brown. They needed to do something. They went with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson wanted Tibbs out. Let's be honest here. Let's get to the real gist of the problem. They felt this team couldn't get to the championship. And what Dolan was saying in that interview, he was basically protecting Jalen Brunson. But he was like, because Tibbs is his boy. Like, that was his friend. He didn't want to get rid of him, but he didn't want to lose Jalen Brunson. And they were going to lose Brunson, by keeping Tibbs. And it was like, Tibbs was this guy too. He loved Tibbs. Tibbs had to go. Because too many times Tibbs was giving that ball to Karl Anthony Towns, where he felt Towns shouldn't even be touching the ball, and we need to be making more substitutions, taking guys out, moving guys in. But he's like, who we supposed to play on the bench? So in the playoffs, Tibbs played these guys on the bench. You saw Cameron Payne, you saw Shaman, you saw those guys in the playoffs. They just didn't perform. The bench was pretty weak. Yeah, Mikal Bridges also was unhappy with that system. Now, this system he likes because it's more fluent, it's more movement. It's basically the Golden State Warriors offense. But they have Draymond, and Draymond could be at the top of the key with the ball. A big guy who could run the point. Like Sabonis could bring the ball up and run the point from the top of the key. Cat can't do this. You don't have the right personnel. He's slow. When he drives, he's methodical. You have to let him go down there, establish a position, get the ball to him, let him be authoritative early so he can build up his fake confidence. Cat is strong. What people don't realize is Cat is actually strong. He's not a weakling. He's weak mentally. Mentally, he's weak. Physically, he's a strong guy. I know this from NBA players who played against him and said, no, Cat is strong. Like, he's not a weak guy. He's a strong guy. But when you mentally weak, you'll have a guy 170 pounds bossing his ass around. You was like, how is this happening? Dude is like 170. The Knicks will never be champions. Wow. Well, I mean, probably not this season. But who knows what the future holds. I just know if they take this team and stick it in the NBA Finals, it's going to be very disappointing to watch. If you carry this team, if you carry the Lakers right now, you're doing a disservice to the entire league, to basketball as a whole. Why do it? You said, I'm riding with Ukraine. Ukraine and what? What is you talking about? Ukraine. I'm like, huh? What are you talking about? He said, you was right about Rich Paul. He's an idiot. The nonsense he been saying. Like, I haven't been watching Rich Paul. I've been watching the games, but I guarantee you, he is not disappointing. T ain't letting his thumb in the butt go nowhere. All I know is after he stuck his hand up the dude's butt, his finger got hurt. And I don't know why he can't tape his finger up and play. Josh Hart is sitting over there putting on fashion shows every week. I'm like, okay, your finger is injured and you gotta be out. Guys have taped their fingers up to play. What the hell is going on here? When somebody tell me their finger hurt, they can't play because their finger hurt, I'm like, what? Damn, he's soft. Yeah, Cat is a soft individual, man. So if you know that and you've been following the Carl Anthony Towns memoirs, then you'll start to figure it out a lot quicker. That Carl Anthony Towns is not vibing with Jalen Brunson. They don't get along. Cat and what's his name? They get along great. Like OG, ain't nobody gets along with Cat and Mitchell Robinson. That's like a whole group and a ball by themselves. Deuce McBride is kind of like by himself. Deuce, him and Brunson ain't boy, like we blood brothers. He's about the team. He's about the Knicks. And we got to play better, but he don't belong to no groups. The core group, Bridges, Brunson, Josh Hart, and some guys on the bench. So you got like all these players in their different groups on the same team, and they trying to find a way to play with each other, even though they don't like each other. Dude, I haven't seen Gil's Arena and I don't know how long, and I don't know who you talking about. He said, I told you, man, I ain't never gonna let them live that down. Oh, Rose Mitchell Robinson chant. Yeah, I just went on a whole hip hop ride and came up for no reason. No, what was crazy is the fact that all of these other people seem to believe that it's such a great idea for all of these other people to make observations that are not there. But the Knicks fans unanimously, I was surprised because a lot of them are in denial. No, they actually owned up and was like, no, we suck right now. We just bad. We're a bad team right now. But yes, the cup had a lot to do with it also. Isaiah Thomas, the greatest player to ever play in the game, broke it down to flawless perfection. Isaiah Thomas said what happens when you play in a tournament like that, and it's dangerous. And that's one of the downsides of the in-season tournament or the NBA Cup. That's one of the downsides, is when you play in that and you get in a playoff atmosphere, your game elevates and you escalate yourself. So when that's over, there's a come down. And when you come down, the season is normally over. So your body knows, okay, we didn't shot all the way up to this. By the time we come down from this release of being like locked in, focused, now you got to reposition yourself right away. You only got like a day or two off, then you're right back in the regular season. Now you got to go through this process all over again. So quick. And it's like you on such a high, you just put yourself on a mental high to play like these playoff environment games. Now you're right back into the regular season, and these games are different. They're entirely different from the atmosphere of a tournament or, you know, playoff situation. You know, everything's important. Every loose ball, everything. Now your mind has got to get back to playing the regular season. There's a come down. And when you come down, it's like you look at the teams that won it. The Lakers won the first one, and they went on a losing skid out this world right after they won the cup. Same thing with the Bucks. Bucks won it. They went on a losing skid right after they won it. Man, there's so much wrong going on out here. It's like everybody got an identity until they don't. Then everything's screwed up. Now everybody want to put hands on somebody. Everybody want to grab somebody and try to choke them. People want to be rewarded for different things instead of things that they should be. You know? Rose on the Snickle Fritz. Yeah, the Bucks have been missing Drew Holiday. That's what I'm saying. When you went to Dame Lillard, you went to basically Jalen Brunson. You went to a Jalen Brunson type player over a player that didn't play like that. He made sure he was going to give the ball to somebody else. He was only going to take 4 or 5 shots a night. He wasn't going to try to dominate the ball. Defensively is where he was going to shine. But Drew Holiday could score when you need him to, but he's not going to take probably about 6 shots in the game, which frees up Giannis and his creativity. You know, he moves well off the ball. Dame's not going to do that. Younger Dame did, but not this Dame. He's an on ball guy, needs it at the top of the key. So, you know, it's difficult. Giannis would have to do a lot of work there. Take a lot of work. Well, he kept Middleton because they've been in the war together for so long, and then they brought a championship home with Chris Middleton. But it's funny how people were saying Middleton was Scottie Pippen, and it was hilarious. You know, it's just like, man, y'all really just don't know what y'all be saying. I know Scottie was like, what? Oh man, I gotta get out this lane. Yeah, it's rush hour traffic and I'm in the middle of it and don't have to be. I'm like, I go someplace, they're not there, so that was a wasted trip. Exactly. Brunson shooting 29 times in a game, right. And Cat only shot 4 times, but if you can't have 4 shots in a game with 6 turnovers. So I understand the frustrations. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand why the people are mad and ready to turn stuff over. I think the Cat, I mean, they're going to battle back big time. Prince Avery? No, not really, but would Lonzo Ball being on the Knicks hurt or help the team? I don't know, because the system of play, I mean, defensively it would be better, but Lonzo does stay hurt. If I was a Knicks fan, I'd have been quit the team after last night. You lose to a team that was coming off a back-to-back and get blown out by 30. The Pistons could have played 5 games in 5 nights. As soon as the Knicks came on that calendar, it was like the guy said, they wanted to send a message to the Knicks. So the message is received. This ain't the same team you play in the playoffs that year. We different. Yep. He plays no defense, shoots 29 shots a game, and can't pass. Only 3 seconds left on the clock. Is why the Knicks will never win. Yeah. But when you create these scenarios for yourself, as the Knicks have, it's almost a what do you expect situation. Like, what do you expect the results to be when you play this style of basketball? It's something like you're going to have to hit 60% of your threes every night. And y'all shooting 30, 40 threes a night. It's like you're not going to win playing that style. You don't have the personnel that can shoot 30, 40 threes a night. No perimeter defense. No interior defense. What did you trouble Detroit with at all in the game? Against Philly, same thing. Backcourt. Destroyed you. You went away from Cat. Bona came in there, start punking Cat, banging him around. Same thing. Atlanta, giving up open threes to the guy that you gave up open threes to the last time. And they carried you to a victory in that game. And I was like, yeah, they was lucky to get that game. Y'all let Atlanta come all the way back from like 20 down. And then you start going down double digits in all these games and coming back and thinking like the Knicks are just that good. The team is not good at all. There's so many teams in the East better than the Knicks. And did I bet the Clippers? I don't think I did, but I'll check. But yeah, let me get situated here, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with me. Appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the page if you're new, and don't forget to go to the Patreon, because we got another explosive one coming up involving O.J. Simpson. Oh, you gonna like this one.